Welcome to the fifth dimension. Because being crazy is what we like. Gotta lift it up a little bit. Everything is so humdrum. No more humdrum. No more humdrum. Break the humdrum. Break conformity. Everything is just moving at a very eclectic pace, and I love it. I love being eclectic, abstract, out there, bringing in the out there energies and bringing them down to anchor. That's what we're going to talk about today, because there's so much that, as we all know, those of you that watch our videos, you know, usually at these celestial alignments, we have the amplification of these energies that assist us in harmonizing and integrating our wholeness and our allness. That's what Ascension is all about. Because every moment, new moment we wake up, we're creating the harmonization of all that we are as spirit, creating matter. The Ascension cycle that each of us have is unique. The pacing, the temperament, and the speed and desire through which you take on that accelerated light is uniquely up to each person. As that light is being taken on and harmonized into greater capacity, greater acceleration, you are then understanding yourself as the fluidity of oneness, your harmonization of your light and oneness, and therefore your bodies will change. We had a great discussion last night about the teams were letting me know about quantum. The quantum elegance of who we are as spirit, creating matter, will allow our bodies and our exterior, what we call exterior, the bodies, to shift and change based on our oneness and our harmonization with our I am presence. The I am presence being that experience that calls forward anything we need to call forward to integrate oneness, to process our oneness. And that is reviewing in every moment each and every one of our own unique vibrational stories that we all exist within. The belief patterns, the socioeconomic lineage, societal dogma, familial, any of those vibrational stories that we've chosen to take on as the construction of who we are, what we exist with, and what exists in us, which is totally upside down and flip-floppy, because they're done from a limited experience of egocentricity and separation of spirit. So now in the flip-flop, which is what Ascension is, which means you're awakening up to who you are as spirit, creating matter, you're allowing that all of these stories that are vibrational choosings of characters, roles, landscapes, and choosing the experience of who you are, the value of who you are, the worthiness of who you are, to then being brought back to center, for you are a divine being of holy light, you are a divine being of majesty and essence that is spirit. You get to then choose to create your own story and construct something that works just for you. Through the inner alignment of who you are as spirit, through the inner alignment with your I am presence allowing you to be that all that is, so that you're able to feel and see into the quantumness of who you are. And so the title is Anchoring in the New Beginnings. And so anchoring in the new beginnings is really exciting, because part of my own personal story is that through much of the childhood experiences that I've had, and on many planets and many of our collective, many of you that have come as rainbow and crystal children, many of you that have come as empaths and light workers, feeling the separation between you and your environment, especially through your childhood experiences. And those that were classified as sensitive, those that were classified as very emotional, were sometimes entrained out of their gifts, especially if they were boys, and trained out of their sensitivities, because it wasn't necessarily a part of the socio-structure or the dogmatic structure or the lineage or the Akashic structure of what their families had brought up into their own belief patterns and systems. And so many children are conformed and ostracized based on whatever stories and vibrational packages that we're all born within. And then it's up to us through our own awakening, through our own inner choosing of who we are, that own inner belonging of who we are as spirit, to then choose our own self-direction, self-guidance, and self-creation, right? You're creating with source as source. You are spirit creating matter. And so in that, we go through this development stage, but now that we're entering all as spirit, everybody is going through the same development stage all together as in our oneness. So you can see yourself as, they're just showing me, a teenager that's going through their independence, and they're wanting to find themselves, and they're challenging themselves to break boundaries and push boundaries. They're going through the same experience of awakening that an adult would, because the adult has stifled itself within conformed systems of who it thinks it is and what it's existing within and what's existing within itself. And so, as we said earlier, everyone's ascension path of awakening is unique and different, and accelerating and eventuating in different ways, and it's meant to. We're meant to all go off into our own soul's experience based on what our souls are meant to explore and experience, for that all of the experiences that you're going to need to gain in your navigational experience, everything before you is a vibration. Everything before you is that vibrational story that's saying, what are my fears? Who am I? And how can I transcend this? That's what the vibrational stories are all about. What are my beliefs? Who am I? What do I really exist within, and what exists within me? And how can I start rewriting it and changing it anew? And that's why where you invest your energy, how you invest your time, and how you direct your energy is what you're creating in this new experience. And so the new beginnings is that we're moving into this they're just showing me like they're showing me my granny stew. The fall always reminds me of stew and these beautiful biscuits that my granny used to make. And it used to be a beautiful time of just taking great care and honor and time into that resonance of being nurtured in that home experience and being nurtured in that feeling like home. And so this is what this means to me. And okay, so I get it. So this whole thing about new beginnings, going back to my own unique story and many of the hybrids and many of the crystalline children, the rainbow children that are here, many of you that are awakening that have been from many planets that are just awakening to it. Coming home is the experience of who you are in your essence of source. The quantumness of you is all changing. Your I am presence that you're calling in to show you your quantumness, your belonging with it, your acceptance and your loving of it. All that is outside of you is your oneness. Where you are at in your consciousness awakening, how conscious you are of your oneness with spirit as spirit, creating spirit in matter form, will be your allowance to know that it's your I am presence calling it forward for you to explore, to experience, and to express yourself in a different way. Because as everything comes before you, you allow yourself to then express in a new way because you're now choosing from a place of peace and sovereignty and self-guidance and self-creation. So then you get to interact with whatever is before you at a higher vibrational experience rather than egocentricity of fear and greed and, fight or flight or win, lose. You get to choose to accentuate yourself and choose from this higher place of anything is possible, not relying on anything or anyone outside of you to make your life successful or happy or belonged or whatever it is that we've given our power to. And so these new beginnings, they were reminding me of bringing these stories because many of you have similar stories through which, as you're going through this developmental stage of our growing up period, if you will, and just before you enter kindergarten, you go through this really profound stage of mini responsible, wanting to get your legs wet and getting out into a more of a world as opposed to the comforts of home. And so that home experience becomes different because the child now goes out into a bigger home and it finds the beliefs and it finds the ways of doing things and it finds its experiences out in the outer home different. And because what it grew up with in this home, the beliefs and standards and experiences were so much different, but then they go into a different home like school and everybody is coming in with these different experiences of who they are, the perspectives of their reality, their ideologies, their belief patterns, their familial stories, tribe stories, whatever that child comes within, there's a new set of vibrational stories and potentials. So their home becomes a bigger home. And so too, when they get to another age of development where they grow into like middle school or high school, when it becomes much bigger, and then that home becomes different because then the teachers are influencing them in different ways. The experience of their social belonging and their social setting all become a part of what that person becomes. And because of where we've come from such separation of the ideologies of who we are as spirit, giving our power away, giving our belonging of, always wanting to belong to things that are outside of us, but not defining us who we are within, because we've never been taught to go within and who are you? Constant inner seeking. That is the flip-flop. And these new beginnings are allowing us to then rediscover. We are the home that we are creating is these new experiences of choosing from these higher potentiations, and the home that we see outer is now becoming the home of the inner. And there's a multidimensional statement, and for those that so desire, journal that statement and then just go into a meditation about that, because there's so much that I'm showing and I'm being shown right now and I'm seeing, because it's all interrelated to many things that I've been going through, is these activations within quantumness that are changing because you're intaking and you're gathering and you're processing, you're integrating greater light. That light is in that light that you're processing is exponential in its potentiation of all ways and all dimensions of experience. Thank you, Source. Okay, so Source is just showing me that I'm harmonizing right now in a potentiation of greater quantum light, and that quantum light can be infused and offer in it what it is able to translate. I am a translator to into a story that others can use to then allow themselves to open through free will and free choice to their new quantum reality. That their teams and their guides, if they go within and soften into their heart, Source will then open that quantum portal to soften into a new reality through the experience and expression that I'm offering. For that quantum reality will be entirely different than what I'm experiencing, especially through Source. And it's meant to be that way. These are vibrational stories of light, language, and the Holy Christ, working through the potential of who you are as your I am presence, harmonizing with the all and the soul of you, which means that all that you are as quantum Source is now tapping into a field that we're co-creating together because we're here as a sacred community, a sacred collective. Our hearts and our souls and our quantumness is now creating this experience. It's called the extension of quantumness, because we're sitting in the sacred gathering of who we are becoming, and we're allowing it to become more than it was before. We don't have to necessarily see anything in solid matter form yet, because we're opening our eyes and our arms and our hearts to say that we are quantum. We're all places at once. That's why we've gathered here. I've been intrigued, I've been interested, but now what next? What next? How can we create in a quantum way that's now going to shift my reality perspective of who I am? And so going back to this exciting new beginning, and how can we anchor this experience of our quantumness changing, the strange and the unusual coming to the forefront, flipping everything upside down so you can see it for what it really is, and then go from the inside out and deconstruct it, because it's you. Your quantumness is that you are the planet of who you are, you're the galaxy of who you are the star system that haven't even known yet to your planet. And my throat chakra is clearing because it's such a great excitement for me to be the ambassador of all star celestial councils of the universe and bring forward these informations that are not known on this planet, and to be a conduit for the many galactic and celestial federations and the star councils and the star fleet command, the space command, sorry. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit, and the celestial councils of light. Thank you. And we are accommodating you in this experience to help transfer and transition you into your new experience of ambassadorialship for these communications, for the many of the earthlings that want to hear about who they are and how they are becoming more of their quantum experience of their highest self, their I am presence, always allowing them to be a part of a grander experience of who they are as spirit and light. And all that is the Holy Creator, opening these blessed gifts to who you are. For remember, it is the gift and the offering of the Holy Creator that allows you to explore all that you are as spirit. And we're offering this through the conduit today, and we thank her very much for being a part of this exploration. For we have much to share with you, and we are very excited to be a part of these experiences with the Unique Human Collective that chooses to experience themselves in the most experiential way of the elegance that you've been brought forward to. For your body is the expression of who you are as spirit, and you are able to change this body form, and you're able to change your reality form in every way that you so choose, and you always know this. However, few of you are putting it into experiential practice. So we ask that you soften and truly anchor into these energies as if it's a beautiful soup of play, a beautiful fall stew through which there's so many textures and so many beautiful gifts within that stew. And every bite is something delicious and something different. For you are the blessing of your harvest. Is it not harvest time? And so we offer this to you, dear ones. Anchor and be wonderful in who you are. Be wonderful in the softening and have it not be anything specific. Just anchor. Thank you. We want to go back to the conduit story. Thank you. So in the conduit story, in my earlier days, I was going through my own developmental structures. And because I had the gifts of who I am as a universal conduit, much of what I see and much of what I experience in the quantum experience of who I am in the world around me, I'm very connected with many of the celestial gifts through my own interpretation of my reality is much different than others' interpretation of their reality. For remember, each perspective is based on the consciousness level of each that walk within it. Everyone sitting within a room will experience their reality and perceive it in a different way based on the level of consciousness that each have, the density that covers them within the beliefs of who they are and what they exist within, and what exists within themselves will be different and unique, and it's meant to be this way. For it is up to each and individual person to take the responsibility and ownership of who they are. If they choose a shifting in their reality, it is their unique responsibility to go within and begin releasing the densities of who they have been patterned to be and to become. It's all free will. It's all the soul choosing of each person. Therefore, every path is unique. Every path has its own unique pacing, its own unique exploration and adventureship, because each of you have a different commandment. Commandment means there are various lessons and various energies and various portals and various no, that's not the word. What's that word? I'm just seeing an obstacle course, the navigations that the soul needs so that it can build its skills, it can build its resistance and resilience to what its role is meant to be. you know, to toughen up, thick skin, and all those other things that you say on that planet, because there will be many that will try and, you know, explore themselves in their unique way by, you know, declaring resistance on anything that is outside the box. And that's fine. But you don't have to buy into anyone's story, because you know your story is unique. And it's meant to be that way. You know, you get to choose your reality experience. That's what the whole idea of sovereignty is all about. That's the evolution of all thyself. For Spirit offers you all those beautiful gifts. Spirit will say, what do you want to experience? And it's in your heart to experience all these beautiful things. It's just a matter of you communing with Spirit. This is, I'm so excited to create this, Spirit. I'm so excited to create this, Spirit. And Spirit will offer it before you. And all of the celestial changes that go into the makeup of you, the exploration of you, the homecoming of you, the becoming of you, the anchoring of new beginnings of you, is up to you and your inner seeking with Spirit to say, these are my greatest excitement, Spirit. Please allow this to come forward with me. And you will begin to see these changes. Oftentimes it's not overnight, because you have much density to clear throughout your multidimensional bodies and fields. And so it's up to the devotion and the commitment that you have within thyself to start living in the new beginning of who you are, as more quantum, as more light, as more accelerated, as more visionary. For what reality are you envisioning? How may you see your planet as more liquid and fluid and peaceful? How may you see into the grids and into the timeline, so that you're seeing the peaceful people come together in oneness, come together in harmony, and start rewriting all of the systems of subjugation and corruption. For you can see this. You start becoming it. Start anchoring in these light particles that are always there, the gift of source. And you're starting to create it with your human matter. The matter of you is becoming more spirit. You're creating from the spirit and becoming more spirit matter. Therefore, your reality in and of itself becomes more spiritual matter. And it becomes this constant evolution of quantum. The quantum collaboration and coagulation, whatever that word is, COLLAUGLATION. We're wanting to go back, so they're showing me back. So in this experience, through what the processor, me conduit, of the energies through which I saw my reality and experienced my reality in many different ways that those around me just couldn't understand and experience, because they had the densities and the perspectives, and their belief patterns were steeped in density. They could not see, hear, or know what I could, what she could. And therefore there was much discrepancy. And what we talked about earlier is the progression of light. Many of you on your planet are now seeing the variances of dimensionalities, the variances of consciousness, and there's no judgment on any of it. It's all perfect. But those of you that have been awakened for a while are now seeing very clearly the aspects of the variance in light, the progression of light, right? You each get to experience it within yourself. Am I progressing within my light? Am I able to process and integrate the light that is in and available to me? Am I integrating the I am self, the I am presence, which will always call into you what you need to process and integrate, so that you can hold greater light, so that you can see the oneness in it all, and not separate and segregate yourself from it or anything else. For you are processing the integration of all that is one, oneness. And that causes many to be disrupted, because they've been brought up in very steeped beliefs about conformity and limitation and fear and greed. And so that's up to them to go within and heal those beliefs. For you are all infinite, and you are all quantum. And you will feel your quantumness as you experience greater light. And many of you are experiencing that. You're seeing it very blatantly, the progression of light on your planet. Those that are absolutely living in the reality of their highest joy and their highest becoming, and they're anchoring in these new experiences because they're allowing themselves more and more to live from a place of joy and sacredness. And so in the progression of Joanna's light experience of ascension, she had turned off many of her gifts through the many traumatizing experiences of not being valued and honored for her very special and unique gifts that very few carry and are hard to hold in that capacity. And so she was given a story yesterday to help understand her multidimensionality and the quantumness that she's now seen becoming real in her reality, because she's been asking for it for eons, never quite feeling at home here. But that at home here meant that there was things that she turned off that made her feel so very at home when she was younger, because the environments and the dysfunction that she saw around her didn't make sense to her. So she would allow herself to open her multidimensionality and her gifts and her skills so that she could feel at home again. It was her oneness with all the creation. It was oneness with all of the beautiful consciousness portals and beings and spirits that were always walking around and beyond the unseen and beyond, always available to her. for she had that quantum experience with spirit. And this quantum experience of spirit was that gift of her oneness with spirit, to see and be all things with spirit as spirit. For that is the perfection of all that is. And so those gifts got turned off because of the very painful traumas of separation and abandonment and all the things that many of you experience for not being accepted and valued for who you are, special and precious. And you've been brought here for exactly that, to transcend all of those very painful experiences, to know that, yes, I am perfect. Yes, I now own myself. Yes, I am value. Yes, I only need me to belong. Yes, I only need me to create my own self-worth. Yes, I get to choose my own story. Yes, I get to write my own characters. Yes, I get to choose who I am. And all of those belief systems and all of those energies and stories get changed. And you, for all of your creation and all of your ancestors and for all of humanity, for all of humankind, get changed for now. Now is change, now is change, now is change. The new beginning is now. You get to choose to be your fullest right now. The highest level of quantumness right now, if you so choose. It's always free will, and have it be okay that others won't be there with you and for you and along the ride with you, and they'll probably cause, their comments of challenge for you in that, because you're going in a different direction that they just simply cannot understand, and that's okay. Them going within themselves and figuring out their soul story is what is exactly needed, and why those breakaways must occur, those transitions must occur, because it causes a catalyst. That is that catalytic agent that moves others into the awakening process. That's normal and natural and needed. And your entire planet is going through it as a collective, as to how much conformity and control will your collective allow. That is the catalyst to go within and seek thyself. And no one can tell it to you. You're not meant to have one leader that says this is the all. Each of you are your own leaders. Each of you are your own resonance of health and wellness and the leadership and guidance of it. To choose for thyself, the inner sovereignty of thyself. And so in this becoming and in this homecoming, you realize that everything within you is your home. Everything within you is all the planets and the galaxies and star systems that you have always belonged to, now ready to rediscover itself through the living of it for you, through you. And so these recent activations that the conduit has had has reminded her of these gifts that she had when she was younger, so that all of the challenges and all of the disruptions and all the distractions that tried to take her away from her beauty of who she was, she's now coming back home to who she is, because she doesn't need anything outside of her to feel valued and safe and honored. For she is always walking with the heavens. She always has walked with the heavens. And now she is very truly and blatantly see that she has walked with the heavens, because it's all coming to her fruition in a new way. I've always walked with the heavens. I've always been special and unique, but I'm now ready to claim it. She's now ready to claim it. She's now ready to see, I will anchor these new beginnings, and I know who I am as a conduit of all that is spirit and light. And I'm ready to be the ambassador of all celestial councils and star councils and galactic federations for the preparation of Earth into entering into these new quantum beginnings, if you so desire to be a part of this ride and this galactic homecoming. How very exciting. And so in these experiences, she had a vision yesterday while she was opening up portals to all of these different dimensions of experience that she was offering others. And they showed her an experience of the court stenographer. And she had always wondered in her times of working with government, when she worked with the government to take on a stenographer job, but she didn't quite know quite how to work the stenographer machine and what all that meant, because it looked very strange to her that entire arguments of judgment, arguments of claiming defense and offense of the court proceedings, and vast amounts of verbiage on these one or two little keys, and the entire court proceedings would be tabulated as the processing of information in this tiny little machine. And so this is the experience that she's had within herself from all of the outside experience in her outer world, not understanding her level of quantumness, because they couldn't understand that her little body and her experience of who she was able to translate this powerful information and then process it in a big and huge way. It didn't make sense to those around her. They couldn't understand the tabulation of energy and wisdoms and quantumness that she was able to proceed and process and integrate, and then translate for others just to choose and use what they will. And so they showed her this court experience, and it reminded her and brought her into a flashback. That's how she felt. She had that wondering throughout her own life. She was showing herself through her I am presence. What is it that I can integrate? That process of feeling as if I don't know how that little tiny machine puts through so much information and verbiage to the T and to accuracy, that just with a few buttons it could do it. That little tiny stenographer machine was able to tabulate, individuals within the courtroom, and it all did it so fluidly and so effortlessly. And I always found those court stenographers so amazing. I didn't know how that tiny little machine did it and how they did it. I thought it was always great. I always wanted to, you know, apply for those jobs because they got paid more, you know, and it seemed so interesting. I just couldn't wrap my mind around that tiny little machine. And so in seeing it yesterday and opening up to these new portals of quantumness that they were showing us, these new beginnings and these new energies are allowing us to remember and activate and have those flashbacks of who we've always been. But we've shut them down because of the separation and the anxiety and the agony that others around us couldn't understand how we could process information that was always there. Because we've come with just different codes. Doesn't mean that everybody doesn't have it. It just means that what is your soul's plan and destiny? And you can go within and source and say, source, what are my gifts and skills? How can I become more one with you? I want to experience this magical world. And so Joanna, in and of essence, is like that court stenographer machine, if you will. And we say a machine, you know, only because it's what you have on your planet as a common ideology that you can all, you know, look at and say, wow, that little tiny machine and those keys just puts out all that information. And there's only a couple of keys that states all of that. And so those are the experiences through which a conduit and a vessel of light opening to the quantumness of these activations of the portals that are around you, the galaxies and the informations that are you hold within, and your acceptance and your loving of who you are and the new beginnings of where your home is. Where is home for you? Who is home to you? What is the vibration of home to you? And that is all found within. When you start accepting these quantum experiences of who you are and your vastness, you start accepting the weird and wonderful experiences of who you are and the strangeness and the upside down effect of who you are, you then begin to say, wow, I can do this experience of allowing me to become my most expansive and always in my most high, offer it to creation for the assistance of whoever else wants to be excited for these informations. And that's all it is. It's an exciting offering. And all those that get excited and activated by it, the ponderings and the wonderings of what is beyond the scene, and the scene beyond the scene, and the scene beyond the scene, and the letters between the spaces and the spaces between all words, it's all there, it's all God. You are quantum within. And so she was brought back to this activation because those activations help remove blockages and densities. That when you go back to the very first initiation of when you were harmed and ostracized for the very gifts that you were brought here for, you clear away that density. Say, yes, I acknowledge this now. That is a gift of mine, and I clear that away. I accept those moments of pain and traumatization, and I now get to clear it. For that is why your gift of ascension and going within is your unique path and your unique true empowerment with source. Nobody can clear your blockages for you. It's up to each and every person to go within and say, when did that trauma occur? I'm going to give myself a flashback. I can do that because I'm quantum. I can go back and forth in all places. The now heals all places. The now heals all places. The now heals all experiences. And so seeing that court stenographer allowed me to understand, wow, that's why I'm here. Those are my special gifts and those are my special unique experiences, among with all other things, because we don't want to ever, slender her expansiveness, because it's far beyond that. That's only the words that you have, because you don't yet have the words for what she is able to process and able to put forward. And she's still finding the words, and why, the studies will do great. And those are my own personal experiences. So we'll move on. The quantumness and yes. And so those portals are always available. And so what had occurred last night in this experience was that the court stenographer, if you will, working in tandem, source creator, my source, my I am presence, working in tandem to bring forward the multidimensional information that was being brought forward in the portal experience that we had last night. Clearing, thank you, Spirit. And we had seen in an offering, because those that offer the potentiation before us, just as you're gathering here now, your quantumness in this experience are offering the potentiations to gather and excitement and gather in your space, all of the higher beings of your teams and your guides and your higher self and your soul and the holy creators and all of the beings that are in between and the in between are all gathering to open up and activate these experiences and activate your quantumness if you so desire. It's just a matter of asking and seeking the excitement of doing so and being so. That's what occurs when we gather in these sacred experiences through the conduit, is these portals and these gateways are opened. So that in that experience, you're just excited to meet and gather, and whatever comes forward is meant to come forward. And we never know why until the end. And we say, wow, that was an activation we didn't even see coming. And so where other beings are brought through these portals and other beings of consciousness through your I am presence is an energy of you. It's an experience of you. And then you get to see yourself and experience yourself from other timelines and other realms and other planets, as we had last night. The Lyran experience. And the Lyran I am presence came forward to be a part of this experience, and was came came to me, and I showed the being to the people on screen. And the consciousness that those are able to explore are able to begin now activating through their excitement to see themselves as an I am present Lyran, to see themselves, wow, I'm going to open this. This is who I am. I get to open to this experience of who I am. I'm now accepting myself as this open experience of Lyran that's coming to me. That I am presence wanted to have the experience because it honored the fact that in this way of our dimensional reality, this is how we commune sacredly. It already knew that, not even being here, but it wanted to be a part and partake in this physical experience. Those again are called flashbacks. So she was showing myself and the I am presence that they had already done this on the future earth. We were just in this physical experience playing it out. And so that's why you have those back and forth toggles, the dimensional realities that you often go to and from, because you're having to release those beliefs that says you're not there yet, or you're still in a linear experience of normality or conformity that says you're limited. You're not at all. Just allow yourself to open up and have fun. You know who you are. You know who you are. And if you have those experiences that, you know, you're feeling as if you're being held back, you're feeling as if you're living a limited life, then you're absolutely knowing that those are the blocks that you start with first. Again, you're not limited. You want to have fun, explore. Your God, your source, your DNA will activate when you choose it to. Also in divine timing of what you're meant to explore, and in the soul's timings of what you're meant to clear for your karma and so forth. And those are exciting new beginnings, aren't they? Of course they are. Many of you are cheering. Thank you. So the anchoring of the new, thank you, Spirit, and honoring it, honoring everything that is before you as a part of your oneness, and just accept it. It's a part of my oneness. And in that opening of the portal, you begin to flow into your quantumness, and it will show you what I need to show you. Your I am presence will come forward and give you the information that you need and offer it as a multidimensional pondering. It's not going to say, here, do this, do this, do this, because that's linear thinking. That's the lower mind, if you will. The lower mind wants to say answer A, answer B, answer C, answer D. That's not how quantum information works. It's an impression of quantum energy and quantum multidimensionality that is through Source Creator. And you get to tabulate within your own awakening experience. That's why we said earlier. Depending on where you're at in your consciousness awakening, you get to pull in and allow it to be what it needs to be for you. And so, for instance, if you're going to listen to this video a month from now, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, and we only say this linear because there are still the understandings that many of you hold very steeped within your linearity. Your next experience of this video will be quite different than it is right now. See what we're saying? Because you're offering yourself in the more potentiality to become more fluid in the now, not from a linear perspective. So you're going to have many activations, you're going to have many awakenings, you're going to have many permission slips for yourself to become more now. Right? To become that beautiful experience of you in all places and all times. Your I am presence says we can go anywhere and do anything. Just be grounded, call in all of your consciousness, center at your heart, and begin having fun. Allow yourself to know that everything before you is an aspect of your oneness. What is it showing you? What is it allowing you to see? What belief is it allowing you to let go of and release? And really start playing. And feeling at home, because so many of you feel that separation of not feeling like home, because the ones that you have around you or with you have been contracted with you so that you can learn and gain your self-inner strength, to return your power back to you, to bring back your self-ownership, your self-wisdom, and your self-guidance, so that you're not putting out any importance on anything outside of you. Your importance is the value of who you are with Source, and that is your path. That is your highest counsel. You don't need anything outside of you to dictate your life. It's you. You are the commander of your sovereign life. And anything that is before you is an integration of oneness. And you get to choose how that goes and how that feels and how you create through your quantum allowance of who you are. If you're quantumly allowing yourself to who you are, you're always allowing that highest perspective of who you are as Source, your higher self. You're living as your higher self. And it won't be a continuation of limited cycles of linearity, because you know that you're being activated and everything is being rewired, which is what, when you have those activations of more quantumness and you get activated into that next level of becoming, the linearity and the density of what was no longer plays any interest, because you've let that density go. You're carrying more light and you want to play within those experiences that are all now. You get to create from the spirit matter that spirit places before you, within you and around you. And it comes from higher intellect, right? And so many of you will feel intrigued as you take on these new levels to do studying in different arenas and different areas. And what you thought might have been your purpose is not your purpose at all. It's just an offshoot to go here, here, and here, right? So trust Spirit. Spirit will guide you. hone into your environment, because your environment, as we said earlier, the quantumness of your environment is the quantumness of you. And those that were in the class last night offered themselves that potential. And we felt the hesitation for in a moment that you had to think about what that meant. And then you said, I get it. Because you're giving yourself permission that when we say and offer these experiences, you're giving yourself permission that a book might not really be a book. It's just your permission slip to say that I already knew the information of what was in here and I gathered what I needed and now I don't need it anymore. The room that you sit within is just the room you sit within because you've given yourself permission for it to be there. But you can change it through your allowance and your permission and your acknowledgement that your quantumness is based on who you choose and how you choose to use spirit light. As spirit, create with joy. The permission slip you have for the fifth dimension. That all is love and all is joyful. Are you the joy of spirit? I can change this room. Sure I can. I'm creating it. Your mind is so experienced in the linearity that you just run on linear programs of habit and patterns and codes and mathematics and science and spirit all put together. However, most of you don't understand that the spirit is more than all that is. For if you were more tuned in, aligned with spirit, you would be creating more spiritual matter. You'd be having more fun because spirit is fun. Spirit is joy. It doesn't have to sit in a linear program of limitation, coagulating dense material to continue limited programs and then have fear about those programs and then get sick about those programs and then feed into the fear and limiting and sick programs. You don't have to, but you do have to clear out those beliefs that said you did because you took on that belief as your own and you get to choose whether it's yours or not. That's free will. That is the new beginning and how fun. Thank you, Spirit. I'm so grateful. So anything that you see as an opposing force is really only the catalyst to pop you out into greater quantumness. Just own it and accept it and honor it as your oneness. What is it having for your teaching of who you are? And then harmonize it as the greatness of who you are. It's only me. It's the greatness of who I am. This is what I get to choose from. And this is how we can bring greater light into it. This is how we can create new systems of it because I'm more quantum now. And we're anchoring the new beginning. We're anchoring the new beginning that anything before you is the potentiality of all that can be. And you will feel the excitement of how you can create with spirit. And spirit and your higher self will, how can we create greater light within this? How can we create greater light within this? How can we serve the greater good within this? Because somewhere, somehow, some way, we'll find that piece of information as quantumly exciting. And they're going to be inspired in a quantum way. And it's going to activate them in their DNA so that when they have a dream that night, they're going to have the answer they need. Do you see what we're saying? That's the quantum field that you live within, that spirit and source offers you in every moment. That's the spiritual stuff that you can now make matter from. But you have to be in alignment of it and play with it and honor it in that way for the highest and the greatest good and benevolency of who you are as light and offering it to all as light, not to have a private emotive agenda to serve your own personal needs. The only personal need that it will be felt is that this is my expression of my sacred joy. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And spirit in every way understands the intention and the motive behind all things. They can feel it and sense it in all ways. And so can you. When your intuitiveness turns on, you can understand when it's spiritually fulfilled with passion and joy and excitement just to be. So exciting. You get to feel into that quantumness and it becomes more exciting, That's the momentum that you build into realities. And so that's what they were showing me, that those signposts of experiences and those signposts of limitations and those signposts of vibrational stories that I fit within and those traumas was because I knew that I was very unique and I knew that I had those unique gifts that just don't even have words yet. Although they did give me a word. But I don't want to be limited to this word. I don't want to be limited to the word at all. I'm a sacred translator of all spiritual realms and consciousness collective, from the Creator's basket of goodies. So I'm a sacred translator. So anything that spirit offers me through the sacredness of all that spirit is and all that creation is in any collective moment, that will be the information that comes through for the equal and opportunity of those that are also involved in the quantum experience. You sit in this quantum engagement of sacredness just to know and be in love and immerse yourself in who you are. You will receive what you need to receive and how you need to receive it. And if it might be only an activation of just a pleasant show and something that you just ponder at, those energies of infinite potentiality are sitting in your field and your quantumness is creating with the quantumness of the all and the quantumness of the all, and spirit says, boom, and you have a meditation, something just activates. You're allowing yourself to be more than what you thought. You're allowing yourself in reality to be more than what you thought, because it is. You're showing yourself those slip sliding moments, and those sheaths of energy become greater and bigger, and that's the portal you slip in. I say slip in. Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose that. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Spirit. So they're showing me these experiences that have happened to me the past couple of days because of my quantumness and becoming more quantum. And so I'm on my computer and I'm looking in many of the books, one of my favorite books, the Arcturian book, that I read, oh my gosh, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. She was explaining that she was working, doing a study in the medical field. And she was writing on her computer, and she had these experiences on her screen. And so I had one of those recently, like the last couple of days. I've been seeing experiences on my screen, and these celestial beings that are popping in and out. My aura is really glowing right now. And so all of these experiences are really making me feel really, really incredibly at home again. Like I'm these new beginnings. Wow, I'm home. I get to see my friends and my family, because for all of my life here, I haven't really felt at home. I've never really felt and understood why the aggression and the normality to aggression and unkindness and the way that people use and abuse others has always been very harmful for me and challenging for me. And those are the exact reasons why I had to go through what I went through, so I could use those experiences as the catalyst to remember who I am and included in the allness of who I am, so that the karma could be cleared from all timelines for divine feminine and sacred children. And each and every one of us come with those packages of uniqueness to clear out the densities and the karmas that we've come to, and why we can offer these potentiations for others to also go within and say, wow, I want to be more than I thought. I want to feel that way, because I felt so stuck and unwanted and unloved lately. Because you have those callings, that's called divine discontent. When you have those inner achings and those inner pulls, why you change jobs and you're thinking that you keep changing jobs in the midlife crisis, and you get a new sports car and you buy this and you buy that. None of that will ever experience what you are within, and that fulfillment that comes from within, that inner peace. That's why you go through those experiences, and no amount of changing jobs is ever going to get you that inner peace that you need and desire. So they're showing me back when I had that stenographer, the court stenographer, those were the experiences through which I was in myself thinking that job would, allow me to explore more of who I was. So again, the symbolisms are really great. The symbolisms, are crazy. But that's why you have those experiences. And when you awaken, you see the threading, the little pops of quantumness here and there, those little signposts that you give yourself. Wow, I understood why I get that now. Wow, I feel like I'm at home now. I get to feel that freedom and the liberation of this is who I am, and I'm not apologizing for any of it. I'm not allowing myself to feel misplaced or displaced because others don't get me. I'm okay with that. And you go through those healing experiences, and you end up vibrating and calling in those that really are in that vibrational alignment and want to work with you in that vibrational alignment. And that's all the elegance of that quantum spirit that spirit and the creator gods are doing with you in the omnipresent, that's not seen to anyone. Well, I wouldn't say not seen to anyone. It's seen by few, but it's going to become more and more that people tap into their gifts and use it and honor it with the benevolence of God and spirit. And spirit, God knows everything. God knows God before you even know. It's this. You're threading with God. It will open, will activate, will gift, will honor, will bless, and it comes from your purity of intention to fully be you and just connect and thread yourself with God. The excitement to be you with God again, the excitement to be you and God again, your oneness with God, your homecoming with God, your reconnection with God, your reconnection with you as spirit, as yourself. And that will offer you everything that you ever wanted. That's the only way that anyone becomes ever fulfilled. And why, in the outer reality, when we individuate ourselves from spirit, we create the outer reality. And your I am presence will just call whatever is forward to you, so you can start processing your I am presence. You're calling in that through your I am presence is here, call in this needs to be processed as you're integrating your oneness. You're having these experiences because you need to process your separation from that, because there should be no wounding, if you will, because now you're remembering that you're spirit, you're all that is. And so you're just integrating and processing, I'm all that is. I'm just going to allow everything, all that is. And I know I can infuse light, and I release all judgments. And that's how we're going to be healing. And that's how we're going to be rewriting the most steeped systems on our planet that are really steeply based in fear-based experiences and greed and corruption. Because it will be, all of those upside down things that are going to happen are going to now, the dust will settle and say, how can we rewrite it in a higher consciousness? Because that higher consciousness will allow us to perceive the highest potentiation. Because remember, as we said earlier, your reality will be perceived and seen or habituated from whatever consciousness level you work within. So if you are steeped in habituation and patterns of lack and less than, then you will have the habituation reality of that and always be reaching outside of you for your comfort and your belonging and your value. It doesn't have to be. It's part of your healing. So when you're going in and processing your I am self, your I am presence of all things and everything before you, you find out that there's no need to have any experience of anger or hatred for anybody, because you know that it's you. It's just a matter of accepting who you are and feeling good within who you are. Then just healing those wounds. And those wounds take, in your time, linear to heal. So this is where it was exciting, because they're saying these new beginnings and anchoring them, because now we all get to choose for this fall becoming. It's our harvest time. We get to reap our harvest from all of those experiences that we've had for all of our, we say the summation in every new moon. And those summations are that, wow, this is what I've reaped. I've put all of those seeds of good love and good intentions for many, many timelines. But now, because we're all harmonizing these timelines and these quantum cork sheaths that you can tap into and just experience the quantum within quantum, these experiences of fast amounts of particles they're showing me to become more of your experience, but you be grounded in the present, so you don't have to go so fast. That's going to be the hard part that I'm going to have to acclimatize to, because the energies are going so fast that I really have to acclimatize to really create sacred space and sacred solace, and be able to process the speed and the energies that I can see, because I am a universal conduit. And the groups in the consciousness are more than one or two, obviously. The groups of consciousness, the Galactic Federation and the Space Command. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. And of course, the energies within me that are wanting to represent themselves in a unique and different ways. So again, it is the quantum threading and the weaving of who we are as spirit. Spirit always puts things before and within and without you. You are the weaver. You are the creators. You are the seeders. Now you get to reap your harvest, what you have created. And so how can you allow every struggle and every challenge to become what is your catalyst to the new quantumness of you? But as you process and integrate it, you're allowing that light to become you. And you get to feel that quantumness, you get to see it, you get to experience it. And all of those little things that you're seeing in your reality are absolutely real, because you're creating that higher level of consciousness to say, yeah, it is real. The person next to you might not see it. The person next to you might think you're crazy. That's okay. They're only seeing it from the limitation of their consciousness, of the densities and the beliefs that they have. Just as if the astronomers, they showed me many, many years ago, astronomers are looking through the telescope, these big, massive $1 million telescopes, and they're seeing what they think and they look like space based on all of the traditional experiences that their books and textbooks have talked about. This is what this star system is, that's what that star system is, and this is where we are, and now look through your telescope and this is that. They're only regurgitating the density of who they are and what they are. If they go through the consciousness awakening process and they start releasing all of their densities, and they say, that was a good starting point, but now I want to be infinite, I'm going to look through my telescope, they're going to start to see star systems and planets and experiences and asteroids going all over the place that they've never even been taught, that don't even have names yet. Because they're seeing it, their reality and their consciousness, now saying, wow, there's far more than I thought, because it's within me. I'm just allowing myself the consciousness acceptance and permission slip to say, yeah, I'm awesome. I can do and be all that God is. I am the eyes of God. I am the presentation of the heavens. The heavens live through me. I'm healing thine name. Right? And so that is the awakening process, releasing the densities that hold you captive in these tiny little boxes. It's okay that they're there. That can be an experience and a story and a beautiful one, but you can take yourself out and say, I don't want that vibrational story anymore. I want this one. I want this one where I'm fully spirit. I want this one where I'm fully quantum, and I want to see things I've never seen before. I want to experience that wholeness with God. And that, my friends, is the catalyst for evolution. Make no mistake about that. And how does that feel? That's awesome. And so that's when the separation just is not null and void, because there is no separation. It's just an illusion. It's the illusion of the individuation, right? That book is separate from that book. Well, no, it's really all one book. It's just wrapped in different packages. Just like we are all humans wrapped in different packages. We're all one. It's all books in the library. Each and every one of us is a book in the Akashic library. We're all one. We're all one. We just have different covers. We have different stories, and we can change the story. That's what's beautiful. You can go to the middle of your story and you can change it, where everything from the beginning to now is now all healed. And now you can create the story that you really want to create. And that's what the Akash is really all about. You get to create with that. And no one has any energy or experience to go in and thwart that or interpret it or to take it from you. Your life and your story with Source is unique to you. And so stand in the power of that, claim and own your consciousness sovereignty, claim and own who you are as spirit, and then begin to soften into your quantumness and say, no, I'm going to heal these experiences. I'm going to release all dark energies and entities. I'm going to release all energies that thought I was less than and lacking. No, I'm abundant in all ways. I'm Source, I'm spirit. And allow everything in between to be a part of the story of your oneness. I accept it, it's a part of my story, but now what? Right? You're releasing those wounds. They don't play a part. And when you own it and you accept it, then it holds no power over you. You walk with the heavens, as Archangel Michael showed us, and Jesus. Nothing and no one can touch your consciousness. When you release those stories of victimization, you release those stories of fear and unsafety issues. When you release those stories, you are safe, you are one with spirit, you are one with God, then nothing and no one and no energies can get inside and harm you and thwart you, because you're owning who you are as consciousness. And that is the profundity of the heavens. You've just opened up a portal of newness, right? Because those stories don't matter anymore, because you created it through the experience of those fear stories, the fear programs, those little packages we were all placed within. But you can choose, no, it's not there anymore. It's like an illusion, right? You can go into a mall and there's infinite stores you can walk in, and each has a vibration and a different offering. Each and every one of us are books on this planet. We're all books. We all have different stories that we come with from our Akash. Every page is different. All the characters are different. All the landscapes are different. All the histories, all the lineage, all the tribes, all of our DNA, all the planets we've ever come from, all the galaxies. We're unique and we are different. And that is so profound. That is where profundity is, because our uniqueness and who we are, wow, don't you want to read that book? Don't you want to entangle as God in that book and allow everyone their own unique story? And everybody just backs off and lets go of all of these energies that are, trying to create separation within humanity about the control of another. No, nobody has any control of any other person. No, free will and sovereignty, the right use of free will. And if there are those that choose to play in that energy, and we all know there are, and you can see it, sense it, smell it, and discern it, then you can choose to just disengage and move forward, because they're still working on energies of control and fear and limitation. Until they work through their energies, and there's no need to control anything or anyone. Just allow yourself to be a source, and everybody will create what they need to create, come with their own realizations. And it's up to nobody to say anything about anybody's path, because it's what they need to create. And so that is awesome. So I've got another call. So we just want to say the quantum experience of what you live within is changing, and what you are becoming is changing, because it carries greater light and access to the subtle realms. So the more quantumness you embody yourself within, you're going to have access to those subtle realms. You're going to see your celestial friends everywhere, which is what I've been experiencing. And, with those, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Spirit. The beautiful portals that open up when we have client, those sacred tribe gatherings, that's really cool. And so to relay information about space. Oh yeah. So this is the space programs. There's going to be different things that I'm going to be tapping into. I'm a representative of the Space Command to relay information about space programs for peace and unity within the Galactic Federation and Light programs. And that will also include why I've opened up to this new quantumness, so that I can have these experiences and these downloads to bring forward for those who so desire and are excited. So we love you so much, dear lighted ones. We would love for anybody to donate, for those of you that would love to see us continue our connection and our sacredness within the human collective and gathering and growing. Right now, there are no, for me and I've been self-made and created all of my materials by myself for the past 15 years. So I've had no other contributors or partners. So any donations and any private sessions and all of our classes, they go right back into me being able to create and continue the process of my exploration as light. And experience with light. So we're so grateful, and I'm so very happy for all of you to connect with us, and we're so very grateful for all of you moving through your beautiful explorations. Our classes and our links are below, those of you that would like to connect with us. And our website link is below as well. And we love you so much. So have fun, anchor these new beginnings, open up to these beautiful new celestial alignments and the equinox energies, and just clear out anything that is holding you back. Ask your teams and your guides if there's any karma that you can let go of that you've released. Ask your teams in every day that you're doing your daily self-care, what are the lessons that you're able to integrate and process so that you can move into a new experience of who you are as quantum light. And it will always involve love, forgiveness, and compassion, because those are the energies of evolution. And then as you do so, you're allowing yourself greater light acceleration and light participation as joy, because the fifth dimensional portal is, are you in joy of spirit? Because you are spirit creating matter. We love you, dear lighter ones. Tickle.